Hey Ash, what's up? Where have you been? Did you get my memo? No, but thank God you called. I have a story for you. And this deserves a memo. Okay. Hey.
Hey girl.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling one with nature with this plant right here.
I know, it's
I kind of love it though.
I feel like with this new microphone, I can't really...
Yeah, if you're watching the video, Ashley has a new microphone set up, and then I was actually really excited because she got me this little cover for my microphone. But then what?
Oh wait, you're actually not using it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was going to introduce
sorry.
that I'm actually not using it because I forgot the dongle. So now I'm faking it, but just for continuity purposes, I just think it looks better.
Yeah, we've been having some problems with audio, so we're really trying to get it down for you guys. So thanks for bearing with us. But
thank you to our 7 fans out there that are sticking with us, and you are...
You're the real MVPs, really. But you know what? Rachel said this to me, or sent me this, that meme you sent me.
Oh, yes.
I loved it. It was so good. Pull it up.
The picture?
Pull it up.
Yes. Okay, so I was on LinkedIn the other day. So yo-pro of me. And...
Dead.
Yo-pro. We're all looking for a hot yo-pro. That's another episode in itself. I mean, yo-pros, we love a yo-pro. But anyways, yo-pro means young professional, by the way. So I saw this picture on LinkedIn, and it said, it was a billboard, and it says, your first workout will be bad. Your first podcast will be bad. Your first speech will be bad. Your first video will be bad. Your first anything will be bad. But you can't make your 100th without making your first. So put your ego aside and start. That made me a little bit misty just reading.
No, honestly, I think we all need that in our lives because it's so true. Like, it really is. It takes 100 times, 99 times to get to the 100th. And obviously it's going to be better, as we move forward. So, no, that makes me misty.
So that's the motivational quote of the week.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. But she sent that to me because I was kind of having a little freak out this week.
Oh, well, we were both having a freak out.
Yeah.
We were both, honestly, this was the closest thing that we've ever... this was the closest thing that's ever brought us to a fight. I think we were, and this was a fight for us.
Was it? Yeah.
It wasn't.
No, because I don't think I could ever really be mad at you.
No, I couldn't either. I don't think you'd ever do anything that would actually make me
mad.
but
it's just like...
versa.
No, I think that's just like when you start to work with someone, it's just tug and pull.
Yeah.
Tug and pull.
Push
and pull.
Yeah.
Finding the balance.
Uh-huh. Tug and chug.
Tug and chug. But we're back. We're better than ever. We're going to fix this sound. We're going to make this the best we can. And we're just having a good time.
We're having a good time.
Good time. All right. So give us really quick recap on the past week for you.
All right. So hit the town with Denver girlies.
Okay.
Or I hit it in Denver.
You were there for literally 24 hours. The next thing I know, she texted me, I'm on a plane.
I know. So I got there on Friday night and then stayed there, had so much fun with my besties. It was just so good. It was just so fun. We rented this beautiful Airbnb in Denver.
It looked amazing.
It was literally stunning. It was so beautiful. And it was so cute. But that was really fun. We all got permanent bracelets.
It's amazing. I want to do that.
It was really fun. So this is my closest thing to a tattoo. And I'm kind of getting addicted. I want another.
Yeah.
I need another. But it was really fun. And it was one of those weekends that, I've known these girls my whole life. And it was just one of those weekends where, we cried the whole weekend because of how much we love each other.
That's really sweet.
And it was just so sweet. We just have the best time.
And something big happened.
And my friend Anna is getting married, and she asked us all to be her bridesmaids.
That's really exciting.
So good.
The bridesmaids are starting for you. I'm retiring my 10 bridesmaids dresses.
But I'm going to bring it back for you when I get married.
Okay.
So get ready.
I'll be pregnant with triplets.
Yeah, right? But one thing, I actually really do want to bring this up because I forgot about this. So the one thing of the weekend is, so my friends are all very weird like I am. They are just, Ashley hasn't really spent much time with my friends because they don't live here. But they're all very strange. And just like me. And so the second I get there, they're like, oh, Rachel, there's this new thing we need to teach you. And I'm like, what? And they're like, Kiki or boba? And they're like, this plant, Kiki. And this plant is so Kiki.
Okay, I know. I can get it.
But this microphone, boba.
Okay, point to something else.
What about this bracelet?
Kiki.
Nice. Let's see. What about that plant?
Boba.
Boba. Yes.
It's round. It's like
no, but like okay, what would sharp cheddar cheese be?
I guess it's not Kiki. It must be Boba.
What do you think though? It could be either.
I think it'd probably be...
Okay, sharp cheddar cheese and brie. Which one is which?
Oh, I would guess brie would be Boba.
Yes, excellent. What about carbonated beverages?
Kiki.
You're good at this. I could not get it at first.
Really?
But it's actually a scientific experiment.
No, literally, I can... But I'm so... Is it like an energy thing?
Yes. Well, I actually have no idea what it is. I didn't really read what it is.
It's spicy. It's hot. It's pitta, the fire. It's the... Yeah, like Kiki is... Yeah.
Yeah, like Kiki, I just think of it as like... I don't know. Yes. It's so hard to explain.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But it's so funny because...
Like, I have a great example. Mm-hmm. A rose or a hydrangea.
Hydrangea is Boba.
Yeah.
Is Kiki. Yeah, immediately. But, so we were doing that all weekend, but it would be so funny. Like, what are you? What are you? Are you a Kiki or are you a Boba?
Ooh. I'm definitely more Boba than you. You're Kiki.
I'm Kiki? Wait, what did my friend say I was? One of my friends...
Wait, this is nuts. I'm obsessed.
Very obsessed. One of my friends was saying that my friends said they're like, right now you're Kiki, but formerly Boba. I'm like, you guys. Like, Kiki, formerly Boba.
Wait, okay, comment on our next Instagram post what you think Rachel is, Kiki, and if you think I'm Kiki or Boba.
Yeah, say Kiki or Boba.
I love it.
So that was the theme of the weekend. It was so funny. But
I wanted to be there.
It was Goofy Cats. We got Goofy Cats.
Goofy Cats.
How have you been, girlie?
I'm good. Nothing new, nothing crazy. I don't have much to report.
Nothing to report?
Besides my 89-year-old patient calling her vagina can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
The T word.
The T word? Wait, is that a cuss word?
Ooh!
Wait, I don't think so.
She goes, I'm ready for you to work on my T.
My
Ew.
Wait, that's a bad word?
I think so.
Oh my god, are we gonna get canceled? I'll beep it out.
Maybe let's...
No, I'll beep it out.
Okay.
I'll beep it out. But it begins with a T and ends with a T. But it's not thought.
Yeah, it's not thought.
There's a W in there.
But today...
I think that's okay, keep
I think it's a bad word, but today she's 89, but she's like aging like fine wine. Okay, girl, whatever you're doing, give me your recipe and your regimen. But she's like, I'm ready for you to work on my tea.
What?
I was like, your vagina? It was so weird.
That is so weird.
Who calls it that?
I don't know. Would you rather her say that or kitty? I'm ready for you to work on my that.
I don't know. It was just an awkward encounter. But good week so far. It's been busy, but good.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so hit us with some pop culture, Rara.
Oh, well, honestly, something that's been really on top of my mind is Drake, because I am going to the Drake concert in September. Okay. September 5th. I'm so excited. I'm going with my friend Emily and her little brother Jack, who is a diehard Drake fan. Shout out Jack Rao, even though you're not listening to this. And his girlfriend as well, Julia. We love you, Julia. And I've never seen Drake in concert. I'm so excited. I've been seeing all these TikToks and it's like getting me so hyped. Like Drake loves like his fans, which I think is something that everyone wants in a concert. Like when you go and they're like, I love you, like responding. Like some woman threw her bra down onto the stage and it said 36G.
No.
And he picks it up and he looks into the camera and into the microphone and he goes, somebody find this woman. And I was peeing my pants. I was like, see, that is the type of show I want.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Like I don't want some
That's literally your energy.
Yes. Like I felt like Kanye West shows, like he'd be like, you guys are being disrespectful, like, you know.
I'm sorry, F Kanye West.
It's like, come on. Like, I want someone that's going to engage with me and, like,
right.
We love you. Like, we're a fan.
Exactly. Like, have some fun.
Yeah. But then recently I've gone to this side of TikTok where everyone's shitting on the Drake concert. And they're like, it was the worst Drake concert I've ever been to. Like,
what?
He was singing all of his classic songs in a different tone. Like, you know the song Marvin's Room? It's like, cups on the rose, bitches on my phone.
Yeah.
So he was singing it in, like, it's like singing that song, but to the tune of September.
What?
Like, he's singing all of the songs in a different...
Do you have actual footage of him doing this?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes. And I'm like, what? And everyone's like, yeah, we knew the song, but we couldn't sing along because we didn't know, like... It was hard to sing along. Like, he'd be like, oh, I'm singing Marvin's Room, and then he would sing it in a totally different, like, way, and they're like... Wait, we don't know how to sing along. Like, it wasn't... I'm hoping that was just a fluke. And
I think it might be a fluke.
One show.
He's a little tone deaf.
I know, that's what they were like, me thinking he was tone deaf, but he was really just having fun.
Oh, God. Well, you did spend a lot of money on those tickets.
I did. I spent $960.
I'm on the floor passing out, dying.
I've never spent that much money.
But she loves Drake. And in honor of Drake, can you just rap us one lyric? Mm-hmm. Or like a verse?
All my exes live in Texas like I'm George Strait. Or they go to Georgia State where tuition is handed by some runner who live in Atlanta that she only sees when she feels obligated. Admitted it to me the first time I dated, but she was no angel. We never waited. I took her for surgery. She wanted to, so we took her to go. Told her, don't even play that. You never talked to wait, and we never talked too much after I blew up. It's only hello, happy belated, nothing. I texted and told her I prayed it, and that's what you texted me. Do you love this shit? Are you high right now? Did you ever get nervous? Are you single? I heard you fucked your girl. Is it true? You getting money? You think... Okay, I'm done.
I am screaming.
HYFR, a classic. Thank you.
Okay, give it up for Rara.
My heart rate just went up there for a second. But yes, very jazzed about that.
Wait, that was actually really good. And half of the... I mean, you were going so fast, I didn't even know what you were saying, but I loved it.
Bars. Absolute bars.
Yeah, so anything else to report before we dive in?
I don't think so.
Before we jump in?
Anything for you?
No.
No?
I mean, life's good. Can't complain.
Love that.
All right, so this week we're talking about when is enough enough?
This has been something that Ashley and I have been talking about a lot, but we've been noticing it's a consistent theme in just the different things that we go through.
100%.
So it can totally be applied to different scenarios in life, but sometimes you just get to a point about like, you're like, when is enough enough? Like, when do you finally back down and you're like, okay, no, like, stop.
Right. And we also kind of took it in, like, when is enough enough, but, like, overexerting yourself, too. Mm-hmm. Kind of, that's, like, kind of what we thought about. Rachel, we kind of both defined it for ourselves and kind of gave examples in our own lives. So we're each going to kind of go there. And then, we'll kind of give you guys our solutions on how to kind of realign, if you will, slow it down, take a step back and breathe. Yeah. All right, you hit me.
I think that, when I think of when is enough, there's been two things that have been really at the forefront of a lot of my issues these days. And I'm dealing with either tolerating BS from myself or tolerating BS from just someone else.
Like others.
From others.
Friends, family.
Yes.
Coworkers.
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously everyone goes through the same thing, but just recently I've been like trying to get into the headspace of, no, you don't have to tolerate that, whether it's you're doing it or someone else is doing it. Shut it down. Like, you have control. Like, you do have control over your life. You can say yes or no. You can make a change. You can just get away from that situation if you don't think it's serving you, you know? So yes. The first thing that I think of when I think of enough is enough, when is enough enough, is basically just overexerting myself. I was grinding to like way too far. I took it way too far. And this was like probably for 6 months, I would say. Like,
longer.
It was
longer.
Really? You think?
I don't know. I guess I
think since January, I would say.
When
I was buying a condo.
I would say before that was spin.
Okay.
Maybe like 6 months. Let's go 6 months.
It started with spin. Progressively got worse.
100%. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
And so I was really just pushing myself. And so first it started with just overexerting myself with workouts. Then that transformed into waking up really early to meet those expectations of hitting those aggressive workouts. And I'm talking like 3 workouts a day, whatever. Then eventually it got to doing other things outside of working out. Like, I could do that in the morning when I wake up really early. Right. And so I then started to do that instead of getting some extra sleep or, just trying to prioritize that. And then before I knew it, it was a regular thing for me to get 4 hours of sleep every single night. And I was doing like 20-hour days, and this was like months upon months, like every day, no rest. Even on the weekends when I had time to sleep in, I would still wake up at like 7 and I would go like
all day long,
run or something, like, it's like just chill. And so I know I talked about it in the last episode about how I was never present or how I am never present. Basically, the point of that whole story about what I went through is that you have to just realize that you can't do it all.
100%.
And you have to pick. You have to pick what's important to you. And I know it sounds crazy. Like, some people are like, you might not even be in that state right now of like, oh, I don't want to do that much stuff. You'll get there one day. I think it's just like, I don't know. I feel like
I think whether you're, buying a house and you started a new job, you went through a breakup and having to move again and move in and out of your parents' house and like redo a condo and starting training, coaching for a new studio. But like, I think everyone can relate, whether it's you become a new mom or a mom of two, you take on a new job. I think everyone gets to this point of like, it's just like you can't keep up. And when is it enough? Like, when do you say, okay, you throw the white flag in and surrender and say like, okay, something's got to give.
Yes, exactly. I know. And I really do feel for like the moms out there, because I was kind of comparing. I think I know for a fact that I'm going to go through a really difficult time when I'm a mom and have to say no to things.
For sure.
And not plans. It's like...
selfish things.
Yes. Or even like, oh, Rachel, you're going to have to deal with the laundry not being folded for 5 days because you don't have time. And nobody has time. But it's fine. Like, that's it. Just calm down. Nobody's perfect. The internet is so fake, and that everyone on the internet is just... these TikTok moms and whatever.
Like, for sure. It's like not realistic. It's all a show. And I think there's a difference between like hard work and ambition versus like overexertion. Like, it's good to be motivated and it's good to like work really hard. And Rachel's one of the hardest workers I know, truly. Like, she gives 120 million% in everything she does. And I would say the same, but I would say about myself, but I definitely think more about you. So I think in our brains sometimes we're both type A and we want to give all we can into one thing, and we think of it and perceive it as, oh, we're being ambitious, oh, we're working really hard, but actually it's like, no, we're overexerting.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're killing ourselves. Okay, so talk to me. So that's kind of how you were really like on yourself, like you're kind of just grinding and stuff like that. What do you think about like with other people and like the workplace and stuff?
Yes, so with other people too. So I've now also learned that as you get older, I feel like when you're younger, when people ask you to do something for them, you're so flattered that they thought of you, and you're like, oh, you want my help with that? Does that make sense?
100%.
Like, you feel honored.
You feel honored.
You're like, oh my God, like, I love that they want me to help them, and you're not even thinking about money or thinking about just they think that you are the right fit. Then as you start to get older, and now that I'm 26, I realize that a lot of people are now asking me for things. A lot of people. And I feel like it's awkward to say no. You get put in these situations where you're like, I want to help you. I really do. But I'm starting to get the hang of saying, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Like, this is either just something I don't have time for, or, I don't know how to do it.
For sure.
And I'm always one of those people that's like, say yes, figure it out later. No. And then for just like personal relationships and things, I think one thing that Ashley and I really love about being friends with each other is that we can always just be real with each other.
For sure.
And just be so transparent about the way that we want to spend our time.
Absolutely.
And that is so important in a friendship. If you have a friend out there that bullies you for not hanging out with them when you get home from work and you are so tired, or you just don't feel like talking to people, and you tell them that and they're like, you're lame, no. No. You need to have a serious talk with them and say, you're not a good friend.
Yeah. Like, please respect my boundaries.
Respect it. I've had so many friends like that in the past where you're like, they pressure you into hanging out and you feel so guilty, and then you end up going, or you just like then you start to lie to them about how to get out of it.
Yes.
And it's like, wouldn't you rather just know that
just be honest, like, hey,
come?
Exactly.
Because I'm tired. Like,
yeah.
So that's one thing I love about being besties with Ashley.
No, it's so true.
Like, I don't care.
Yeah, and I can tell you, like, hey, I am dead ass and I need to go to bed. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I was telling someone this the other day about how something I love about our friendship is that I will, like, if I'm in a bad mood or something and you call me, I'll still answer the phone, but I'll answer the phone, I'll be like, I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I always do that.
But it's good because
I need to tell people.
Yeah. But it's like, and that's how you function. I love that.
I'm really not good about hiding the way I feel. So, like, I have to say it or else I'll start just, for some reason, my brain will get into this vicious cycle and will be like, it's so rude that I'm in a bad mood and she's not giving me any sympathy, like, whatever. So, it makes me feel better telling you.
Yeah.
Because then it, like.
That's good that you feel like you can tell me. And I feel honored that you tell me those things.
I literally will, I'll call her. Or she'll call me.
I'm not well.
I'm not in a good mood. What do you want? And then she'll be like, okay, perfect. I just have one question. And then she'll be like, what's wrong? Do you want to talk about it? No.
Just breathe.
Yeah. Just do some breath work. Just inhale.
I'm screaming.
I was doing Gandhi's breath work this morning.
Okay. Well, I feel like all those points are valid. Is there anything else that any other thoughts there?
Should I talk about the
solutions?
Relationships or no? More of like love life stuff? Or should we save that for a different episode? About people changing?
Oh, let's save that for a different episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the future, we are going to talk about a whole. We're going to do.
Can men change?
Yeah. Can men change? Can people change? Can friends change? I've had recently.
I believe.
Romantic interests, and actually friendships re-enter my life when there was like a severe cutoff with both of them. Okay. And it's an interesting thing to talk about. I think that is a really, really good topic. Tune in next time.
Okay, so I kind of wrote down just like a few things, and I think everyone can relate to this. So I wrote down relationships as well. So like, when is enough in relationships? But I kind of thought about it more like relationships with myself, and where I struggle is, when is it enough like appearance wise? Like, when am I going to be fit enough? When am I ever going to feel strong enough? When am I ever going to feel skinny enough? Instead of like, will I ever fit in those pants that I wore in high school? Like, and just constantly like beating myself down on like my image. Like, those are like kind of the thoughts that go through my head. But then also relationships, and I kind of put this down with like, sometimes I get in my head, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, is like, seeing your friends who live out of town. Like, will I ever be enough like traveling for them? Or like seeing my parents enough, like as they're getting older. Like, I feel this guilt where I'm like, I should be hanging out with my family kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, or like seeing my brother who lives in Dallas, who I don't get to see a ton, but yet I'm flying to go see my friends, and like feeling this guilt of like my time. I feel like I just never have enough time to give. And I like really, I don't know, I almost like get mad at myself that I don't have all this time to extend to other people. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah.
So I kind of thought about those things, and these are personal things that I struggle with.
Yeah.
And then work. So just like overworking and feeling like sometimes having this like imposter syndrome of me not being enough in the role of my job. Like, do I know enough? Like, am I even smart enough to talk to these doctors and surgeons? Or like,
I feel this all the time.
You know, or like, I want to start my own practice or like thing one day. Like, when will I ever be ready? Am I ever going to be enough in the workplace? You feel that?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, so this is another thing that my friends and I say. We feel like monkeys in trench coats.
Yes.
Like a monkey in a trench coat.
Like, you have an alter ego?
Like, we feel like, okay, so monkey in a trench coat represents like a monkey impersonating a human, essentially, and they're trying to pretend to be something. So like one time
it's imposter syndrome.
So one time my friend got a really bad haircut, and we're like, oh, a monkey in a trench coat gave you that, and like, you know, it's just really funny. But I sometimes feel like a monkey in a trench coat.
No,
in my role.
100%
like,
same.
I'm supposed to have like a meeting tomorrow. It's tomorrow with the CEO.
Oh yeah. You've been waiting on this one.
It's just a big meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't believe that they're putting the 12-year-old in charge of this huge project.
Yes. And I think that goes with maybe Rachel kind of works in, you can take this out if you want, but like a boys club, if you will.
Male-dominated industry, yeah.
And I kind of, like, it's being a woman it's kind of empowering to be in that workspace because you're like one of the only ones, but then also it comes with like other challenges as well.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow you know that you're good enough, though, and you're smart enough.
Oh, it's so weird. I'm not nervous. It's very strange.
But sometimes you feel like that imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Like, why am I sitting here?
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm
100%.
Like, why do you trust me?
Yeah. I get that all the time in my work, too, is like patients will look at me and they're like, how old are you?
I think it would be worse in the medical industry, I'm not going to lie. Like, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm wearing this white coat and they look at me, they're like, are you like 21?
I'm like, dress up today?
Yeah.
Bring your daughter to work day? Where's mommy? Huh? Yeah. Mama.
But no, so honestly, I think everyone can relate to that. And we're going to tell you our solutions and kind of like how we overcome these things. But then also I wrote a few more things down is also material possessions. Like, and this is maybe the Libra in me, I don't know, but like...
I think it's the Libra in you.
Yeah.
Because I don't have this.
Okay, so I think some people can probably relate to this, is just like enough stuff, enough shoes, enough clothes. Like, I want all the nicest and newest things, or the designer things, or the bigger house, and like always constantly thinking and wanting and grasping for more. And I've gotten so much better at this, especially with Ethan by my side, because he's very grounding and gives me like that grounding energy and just helps me kind of stay present. But that's another thing I struggle with, is material possessions. And this can kind of take us into our solutions.
Well, why is that? Why do you think that?
I think for me, if we want to really dive deep, is I've always believed that my parents always did well, but very conservative with money. Mm-hmm. And money was always kind of, I think, talked about like, oh, we don't have enough. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to save.
Very conscious.
Yeah. And I think now, like, success to me is like, oh, how much money you're making or what you have. And again, I'm in therapy. Like, I'm doing the work. But on this, to like kind of rewire and reframe, because that isn't what life is about, is how much money you have in your bank account, or like how much money or what you make. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is something I definitely have struggled with. Like, when is it ever going to be enough? But you know what? It's never going to be enough, because what happens is you make more money and then you start buying nicer things.
Exactly.
And also, there's this study out, people who make $75,000 are the happiest people. Like, anywhere in the like 70 to 80 range, the more money you make does not make you happier.
Mm-hmm. My dad, or my parents growing up, I remember, so I grew up in a pretty affluent area of
Paradise Valley.
I think it's Paradise Valley of Arizona. So
the most affluent area.
But like, it's not like there were kids that were going to my school, their houses were 7 times my size.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
yes.
I'm not saying like, oh, my family's loaded. Like,
no.
It's like, I went to schools with these people that were just come from millions and billions, and like showing up in the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces every morning for school. And like, we would go, our play dates would consist of the nanny taking us shopping and the parents would buy me new outfits, we'd get our makeup done. Like, it was insane. And so it was hard, because I would, you know, come home, and I'm sure it was so hard for my parents too. I would come home and I'd be like, why can't we do that with Jenny? Like, why can't we take her shopping? And my mom's like, because that's not what you do on play. Like, you know, it was just, and I always wanted, like, you know, well, Susan got the new Juicy Couture thing, why can't I get it? Well, Rachel, no, like we had money, but they're like, we don't do that. Like, we don't buy all this useless crap all the time. And then eventually what I said to my dad, and I was like, Dad, why don't you have a Bentley, or why don't you have a Rolls Royce?
Oh my gosh.
And he looks at me and he goes, Rachel, I want you to know that I could very well get one of those things, okay? I could get that, I could get the boat, I could do the whatever, sure. But I don't need it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. He's like, I have a perfectly nice car. Why do I want to spend all this money on some car that, sure, it'll be nice for the next 5-10 years. I'm probably going to want a different one. But also, wouldn't it be really cool that, you know, if I got into some crazy car accident and I had to get a full reconstruction of my whole body, and it was going to cost us $700,000, and I just had that extra cash around because I didn't buy the stupid Bentley?
Right.
He's like, that is something I would way rather spend money on. He's like, I would way rather send you to a more expensive college than spend money on the Bentley.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm like, huh. And so I start thinking about this, and I'm like, I totally just adopted that mindset, and I think that's what's made me, like, the way I am today, because I literally don't care about the Gucci bag or the...
Like, the material stuff.
No, I mean, it's fun to have it, but...
Yeah, of course.
If someone's like, what's your dream purse? I'm like, I don't know, a cute black one that's leather and matches all my shoes. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care where it's from, and I don't want it to fall apart. Like...
Exactly.
That's it. I want quality.
For sure. And I think, my parents were super, like, very similar to that.
Yes.
But I don't know what switched in my brain to, like, and again, it's gotten so much better. But, yeah, I think that is the biggest solution. It's just focusing on what you have now instead of what you need, because you don't need those things.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't. And, like, it's not going to make you any happier. It's not going to make you any better. And I always say this, that... when you die, Rachel, I'm not going to say, oh, well, Rachel was a size 4 and she had the best Range Rover and she had $100K in her checking account. Like, no, how I'm going to remember Rachel is I'm going to remember your psychotic energy, your laugh, how you made me feel, like all those things. And that's what we all have to remember is like when we go or when, you know, how are people going to remember us is how we made them feel. Mm-hmm. And I've been working a lot in therapy around those different things just because we do get so caught up. That's my spiel. But going into our solutions, we kind of wrote down like when we feel overexerted and we feel like things are going on, what do we kind of turn to? What do we do? Okay, so for overexertion, I wrote down that one of them we kind of talked about the power of saying no. Mm-hmm. And then also knowing your boundaries whether like you're like when you feel tired, listening to your body. When you feel hungry, eating for your body. You know, like just knowing boundaries and knowing like trying to listen to your body and what it's telling you versus like distracting yourself, like going within, because a lot of times we like will scroll and we'll distract ourselves with TV, but sometimes sitting and being silent for a second and just asking yourself, okay, what do I need right now? What is my body trying to tell me? That's kind of something I turn to. What about you for overexertion?
For overexertion, I'm still kind of new to this
Agreed.
concept. So I'm not, don't look
at
me.
I love your awareness.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Because I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not like, oh, this is what I do. Like, I really don't quite have like a method yet. But I will say that something that I've actually gotten a lot better at recently is, and I feel guilty for it, but I shouldn't.
Don't.
I look at the clock, I see, okay, it's 8:30, I've got to go to bed. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't get to the dishes. Like, I didn't put those dishes away that were in the dishwasher. Got to do it tomorrow.
Good job.
Like, that is not like me. Like, I used to be like, dishes are going to be done because I'm going to be so mad about, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and wish I put them away. You know, it's this whole cycle. So I'm just, like, learning the prioritization of activities. I'm like, what's better? I like that.
I do. Okay, before we move on with your workouts.
Oh, yeah.
How have you, like, slowed those down? From 3 workouts a day to where you're at now?
Well, honestly, the pullback was essentially...
No time.
But then also our nutritionist, Katie, she told me that I was doing too much, and she's like, stop, you're putting your body into shock.
Okay, I also wrote this down. I said finding one self-care thing to do for yourself each day. And like, yes, we all probably work out every day or whatever, but like even if it's just as simple as ice rolling, like, or washing your face. And I think just finding one little habit that makes, or self-care thing that makes you kind of just like, you look forward to doing it, has really helped me. And that's kind of what we talked about with nightly routines. But I've been just kind of romanticizing my nightly routine and just like,
God, I love that.
Yeah, just like getting in the mood, zenning out, making like a hot tea or like a tonic at night, and just like making it just like this moment. And like everything throughout the day, I've been trying to kind of make like romanticize and make it a moment. And it just feels like I am a little bit more present, but like I'm like, okay, like my life's good. I don't need anything else. Like I'm happy with what I have. It's like creating and curating like a happy, yummy, delicious environment. Whether you're like in your office, you set your lighting dim, you put on a good song, you have your essential oils going. I don't know. So that's something I do, is just kind of romanticizing different tasks.
Ooh, I like that.
And lastly is gratitude. Writing 3 things or 4 things that I'm grateful for down a day. But then also, I don't know, in your profession this is a little bit different, but in mine, I see about 200 women a month. That's how many women I talk to. And all of them like tell me crazy stories, like how, their son's dying of cancer or how their husband died. And remembering the stories that people tell me and trying to like focus within and think, okay, life could be so much worse. Like my health is everything. And just having so much gratitude for like the air that I breathe, my heart is beating, my bowels and my bladder are working okay. And sitting with that for a moment, I think can really humble you and like make you feel like, okay, I am enough. I have enough. This life is enough, when you really start to like look at how much worse it could be. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel that?
I feel that. Something I naturally do, I think, well, I know I do, is when something bad happens to me, and like let's say I backed into a wall in my car.
Yeah.
Total dent in the car, whatever. I panic for a second, and then I stop and I go, all right, well, I'm alive, and this could have been a really bad car accident. I could have backed up even further and actually cracked the window, but I didn't. I could have hit a kid in the I think of all these different things of how it could have gone worse, and it seriously just brings me back down to earth. And I'm like, another thing I think about too, and this kind of goes back to your confidence spiel about like, am I enough? Like,
yeah,
I used to get really self-conscious about just like my weight, my image, if I was pretty enough when I was younger. Well, yeah. I think we all still do, but it used to be very bad. But it got to a point where I would just like cry and overanalyze, and I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, you're so ugly. Like, everyone goes through that.
Of course.
But then it got to a point where I'm like, what is that going to change? Like, how is me being so mean to myself going to make any of this different?
Exactly.
I don't know what me sitting here being like, you're so fat and ugly. I'm like, well, then make a change. Like, what do you want to change then? How are you going to change it? If you think you're so ugly, like, then do something about it, If you think you're so fat, then, like, fine. Then go for a walk. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop complaining. And that's one thing that I realized is, like, if you have such a problem with something about yourself, then fix it. Because you can. You can fix it. And whether that's, like, talking it out consistently, recognizing that you don't have a problem.
Yes.
If you are dealing with weight issues, cut the crap. You know what you're doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Fix it.
Right.
Why you're getting stomach aches all the time? Oh, like, you know what you're doing wrong if you are doing something wrong.
Some hard love right there, people.
I've realized that having sympathy for myself all the time is just like the devil. Like, you can't be so, I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. I
hate someone that complains and then they don't fix it.
And I think that's the difference between you and me, is like but that's what makes you so powerful. Is like, you're just like, yeah, like you like cut the crap, Rachel. Like I'm like a, like I kind of like am a.
So my famous motto is 60 seconds to be sad about something, and then you move on.
How did you get in this mindset? Because
I don't know. I don't know.
But you haven't been like that apparently your whole life. Something happened. Like, when did you cut the crap, Rachel? Like, when did that start?
I think it really came to that conclusion on when I lived in LA and I was so sad about living there. I hated living in LA. I was so depressed living there. Like, that was the first time I've ever felt like actual depression, which is crazy. Like, I never thought I would ever feel that way. Mm. And I was living there, and I remember just like waking up every day and just like not loving my life. And then I'm like, one day I woke up and I'm like, wait a minute, no one's making me live here. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm being forced to stay here. Yeah. And this is why my parents call me a GSD. This is like the original story of like the woman who gets shit done, GSDer. Mm-hmm. because I woke up one day and I called my mom and I'm like, I'm moving back to Arizona. And she's like, okay, like, whatever you want to, sure. What, like, okay, what's your plan? And I'm like, don't know, but I'll figure it out. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting out. I was locked into a lease, okay? Like, whole thing. I had a job, like, all this stuff. I literally got a job in 2 months. Got a job, got my lease taken over, moved it back, like,
boom.
Figured it out. Because one day I woke up and I'm like, why am I so depressed for something that's in my control?
Amen. Was there any other solutions that you had, or those
And then I think the last one is that I try to live by this. If you're going to take something on, you should be able to give 100% effort. And if you can't give 100% effort on something, then you shouldn't be taking it on. Right.
And we're still learning that as we go.
Yeah. I mean, the podcast is interesting because it's definitely, like, gonna be, it's hard to balance it.
Oh yes, for sure.
But we're giving that, it's
we're doing our best.
We're in a battle with ourselves, so we
totally
never think it's enough. But we're doing so much.
We really are.
We're really doing really
We're
well.
trying, you guys, so bear with us.
But
also,
yeah, it's gonna be fine.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. Okay, the last little bit, and then we'll wrap it up, is okay, so overexertion, I kind of wanted to take this into like health and wellness just a little bit, but overexertion can impact many things. And so I wanted to go over how slowing down can actually benefit our body. And I think we all know these things, and chime in, okay, to wherever you're like, oh yeah, I can resonate with that. But I think all of us know these things, but it's a good reminder. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I wrote down here, slowing down when we eat. Rachel's so good at this. I think that's like the first time I've called you Rachel in a long time. It's always rah-rah. Slowing down when we eat. Not only is it really, really good for your digestion, and the slower we eat, the better we digest, the less gas and bloating, but also your body, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to recognize you're full. So when you slow down, you actually can, the signals will come like, hey, I'm full. And if not, like, you can definitely overeat. If you're overexerting, you're going so fast. I'm so guilty of this when I come home and I'm ravenous. I also wrote down decision making. When we slow down, our decisions, our communication is just so much clearer, more calm. Wouldn't you say?
I would definitely say that.
Like slowing down, pausing before you send the text or the email when you're angry, or, you know, stuff like that, I think. And also it can help with just stress.
Something my boss gave me that was really amazing advice is he has been teaching me just good things for public speaking. Okay. And I love a good boss that gives you feedback after a call. And you're like, and he said to me, he was like, when you're on a call or when you're just talking to someone, silence is fine. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, let's say someone asks you a question and you're not sure. You haven't really thought about that before. He goes, sit there in silence.
100%.
He goes, don't start rattling off something that you have to know the answer and you've got to say it now. He's like, no, just sit there before you make a fool of yourself and start saying something you don't mean. Right. You don't have to be, just sit there and be like,
That's gold advice. Yeah. Okay, and then also, this is a good one, slowing down exercise. So yes, slowing how much the quantity you're doing a day can really be beneficial to the body. Like rest and recovery is so important for muscle growth, but also too, like isometric work, like actually slowing down your movement when you're exercising, like Pilates. How hard is it to go slow versus fast?
So hard.
Working on more isometric movements is so beneficial to the body. And then lastly, I had to, of course, put some stuff about your bladder and your bowels in here. As you guys all know, I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist, and when I teach people to defecate and void, poop and pee, we go over a ton of like toileting mechanics, but it's so important to slow down when you're going to the bathroom. So one, when you're going, number two, slowing down to avoid straining, because when you strain, you can get hemorrhoids. You can if you're not going slow and you're straining, or you're not like taking time to relax and empty your bladder, you can have something called incomplete emptying, which can lead to urinary tract infections because you're retaining urine. So it's important you really slow down on the toilet. And it's really good, one, just for your pelvic floor health, just to maintain good tone and tension of the pelvic floor muscles, because if you're constantly straining and pushing, that can actually create so much pressure on the pelvic floor. You can end up having prolapse, and that wouldn't happen until like you're 50 or 60, but that's when actually like your uterus, your bladder, your rectum is starting to fall out of the vagina. We should do an episode on prolapse. I think that would be hilarious, because I think your jaw would be on the floor. And then also for the moms out there, helping your kiddos slow down when they go potty, training them young, training them now, to hopefully prevent a lot of these issues. If you see your little one like straining and crouching down to try and poop, work on the breathing, slowing down, taking deep breaths, using the squatty potty, because it really will benefit your little ones. But yeah, so those are all my little tips and tricks on the slowing down, how it can help your health.
I love that.
You like that?
Everyone just remember that just be kind to yourself.
Give yourself some grace.
Nobody's perfect.
You are enough.
Slow it down.
We love you.
You are Kenough. I mean, Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, this is giving Barbie, this whole conversation.
This is giving Barbie.
Like girlhood. But also Mr.hood too.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into This Deserves a Memo. Another fabulous episode that we're so lucky to have all you guys listening.
Yeah.
I know it's probably a small and mighty crew, but seriously, like the fact that people actually listen to this.
It's actually crazy, and it makes her.
Why am I misty? I think it's my period coming. No, but like it's really cool that we're doing this.
And it's been a lot of hard work, so we really appreciate it. I know I'm getting misty.
I'm dead ass crying right now. No, but like it's really scary like doing something like this.
Yes.
Because like it's just so hard.
It
sounds so silly. It's so silly. That's the funny part.
No,
so
let
silly.
it out.
I know, it's good to let it out.
But it's been a challenge.
It's been such a challenge. And like I literally had a nightmare last night that we stopped being friends because of the podcast. And I don't know why. It's
been a test to our friendship, that's for sure, but it's only gonna make us stronger.
But it will. So yeah,
we love you.
All right, we love you. Well, we hope you learned a little,
we hope you laughed a little and loved a lot. Bye.